call the meeting to order. Thank you all for being here. If you please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That was the best Pledge of Allegiance ever.
I was going to say, wow.
I'll start speaking.
Fantastic. So, the first thing we're going to do today is we have a special presentation to give, and it has to do with the Sheriff's Office. I'm going to invite Sheriff Hanlon, and I think I'll have Brad come up too. You guys have come up to the podium since both of you are part of this. And I'm going to start with Scott Hayes from the Northwest Accreditation Alliance. So thank you for joining us today. You want to explain a little bit about your organization?
Actually, I have a little something to say here, so I have it all printed out. If you have any questions, please feel free to chat after. So let me just start. So good morning, commissioners and members of the community. As introduced, I'm Scott Hayes, the Executive Director for the Northwest Accreditation Alliance. I appreciate the opportunity to address the Commission and present the Douglas County Sheriff's Office with their first award of accreditation. The law enforcement in general is experiencing a changing society with increased demands for police accountability and transparency. As in our past, our profession must face these challenges and work with our communities to address their concerns. Accreditation is one step towards building community trust in the legitimacy of our profession. The Northwest Accreditation Alliance was formed under the direction of the Oregon State Sheriff's Association, Oregon Association of Chiefs of Police, and the Association of Public Safety Communications Officials, and provide accreditation services for 97 law enforcement and communication centers in the state of Oregon. Accreditation's goals are straightforward. They're there to support the continued improvement of law enforcement services, to establish best practice through professional standards, to establish agency accountability and transparency, and enhance management of overall operations. For the Douglas County Sheriff's Office to become accredited, it had to adhere to 110 law enforcement standards. Compliance is generally in the form of policy and procedures and adherence to Oregon revised statutes, Oregon administrative rules, and county rules. Our standards are established through best practice nationally and through changes in federal and Oregon law. In addition to each of the 110 standards, the agency must show proof of compliance that it is following policy and their best practice. Reaccreditation then occurs every 3 years after that. This is really a monumental step for any agency to be evaluated by an outside independent organization and have its policies and procedures scrutinized. I know several staff members were involved in the overall process, but I'd like to recognize the efforts of Lieutenant Brad Odell, who worked diligently to prepare the agency for its review as the accreditation manager for the office. Sheriff, and commissioners, on behalf of the Northwest Accreditation Alliance and its 24-member board, I would like to congratulate you on receiving your first award of state accreditation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hayes. If there's any chance you could email us that, we'd certainly include that, I'm sure, in some of our press information. So what I'd like to do now is this is the actual accreditation certificate, so I'm going to read what it says on there. So this is from the Northwest Accreditation Alliance. Be it hereby known that the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff John Hanlon, having fully demonstrated its voluntary commitment to public safety excellence by living up to the body of standards deemed essential to the protection of the life, health, safety, and rights of the citizens it serves, and having exemplified the best professional practices in the conduct of its responsibilities, is hereby, on the recommendation of the members of the Northwest Accreditation Alliance Board, awarded this Certificate of State Accreditation, effective January 8th, 2025, and is recognized as state accreditation public safety agency for the period of 3 years. And that, of course, is signed by Mr. Hayes, the executive director, and Sheriff Shane Nelson, the board chair of the Northwest Credit Alliance. So, Sheriff, congratulations. Stand get between the two of them. I'll do this handshake thing.
How are we doing that?
Okay, commissioners, will you stand? And Scott, I'm gonna have you in the photo also. Tom, will you go this way?
You gotta smile.
Right. Okay, got it.
With you, and if you'd like to say a few words.
Absolutely. Well, I would just like to say that the sheriff's office began looking into this accreditation process back in the early 2000s, long before House Bill 2162 was passed and of course made it mandatory for certain agencies to get accredited. And you know, a few of the benefits of the accreditation, like Mr. Hayes has already mentioned, are to demonstrate a commitment to professional standards, improve accountability, build public trust, and operate more efficiently by adhering to best practices in law enforcement. The process involved, as mentioned, a significant undertaking that required the commitment from a lot of people, really the whole team of the sheriff's office. But there were also some individuals that were involved in this accreditation from ground level. And like the executive director said, Under Sheriff Brad Odell, thank you. He was kind of the tip of the spear. And then also, you know, back when we first started looking at this, we had a deputy, a captain, Dwes Hudson, that started the process. He's not here today, but he was instrumental in this as well as Lieutenant Clayton Rubel. Clayton, thank you. Those two men, along with a handful of others, really were instrumental in ensuring that we met all the standards for this accreditation. That said, we are glad to have successfully completed it. We feel this accreditation through the Oregon Accreditation Alliance reflects your sheriff's office that prioritizes and strives to provide quality public service, professionalism, and care for the community. I want to thank each and every member of the sheriff's office for their professionalism and their dedication to serve. And I want to thank this Board of Commissioners for your continued support of the sheriff's office. So thank you again.
Thank you, Sheriff, and realize how much work this was, and I think the most impressive thing is it's something you all decided to do yourselves. That this is in addition to your normal duties, and it was a opportunity for you to really put your department out to be looked at and say, hey, you know, how are we doing? You know, can we do better? What is it that we need to demonstrate to get this accreditation? And again, you did that voluntarily. It wasn't, you know, weren't forced to do it. You just thought it was the right thing to do, and I applaud you for that and your team.
Thank you.
Commissioners?
Proud of you. You guys are great. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hayes, thank you.
I apologize for demoting Under Sheriff Odell.
Well, I didn't know if something happened I didn't know about, so I just sort of let it go.
Okay. All right, more than happy to be here, and thank you again.
Great, thank you. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on with the agenda. The next thing on the agenda is really a recap of our earlier proclamation for Future Farmers of America. And I have asked a few folks to stay to visit a little bit about their roles and what it is their organizations do. So I think I'd like to start with the Umpqua District President, Ashley Palm. If you'd like to come up, please. Just so the people who are watching know that we did a some photos and stuff with all the different organizations, FFA organizations around the county, and I've already read the proclamation, so I've asked a few folks to stay to kind of talk about the work they do, so thank you.
Alrighty, I just want to start off to say thank you guys for having us, and it means so much to us that you guys advocate and support everything that we do and help us to grow and help give back to the community in every way that we can, so thank you guys so much for that. FFA is all about career success, personal growth, and leadership skills. From the moment I joined this organization, these traits were presented through the work of opportunity and service. Through my time in this organization, I've seen that this does not only come from the core of my chapter, but from the community members who open the door. When we work to go beyond our immediate circles and connect with others, we see that our works can leave a lasting impact that can blaze a trail for future generations. By working with new perspectives, our ideas, knowledge, and experiences can lead to new possibilities. In doing this, we support each other. We learn empathy and understanding to build a united nation. Our chapters are mighty with will, but with the help from our community, we see that true strength comes from transcending boundaries. The more that we work together, the more we benefit ourselves and ripple this effect to our FFA chapters and communities around us. Thank you, guys.
Very much. I would now like to invite up Umpqua District Vice President Sylvia Smith.
Good morning. The moment I put on my blue corduroy jacket for the first time, I didn't realize the impact that this organization and the people in it would have on my life. From competing in career development events and prepared public speaking to raising a market land for fair, there are so many elements that make our youth-led organization so outstanding. As we continue to sport this jacket and even past our time in FFA, let's put our hearts into uplifting each other, this organization, and everyone around us. While becoming more united within our chapters, we accomplish a greater goal that will help us become more service-oriented, a better public speaker, a compassionate friend and leader, and an advocate for agriculture. I'm confident that the reason we stand here today is because each of us have either been impacted by this organization or has our own story that has started with this very jacket and continues to shape us into the person we are becoming and make an impact on the world around us. As we come together as a community, let us continue to spread a powerful message about what FFA is, and together we can work towards a greater purpose and leave a lasting legacy on future generations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You mentioned your jacket. I will let you know, if you hang that jacket in your closet for 20 or 30 years, it will shrink when you go to put it back on. I can show you that. I'd like to invite up Wes Crawford. I know you spoke a little bit earlier, but not only are you the Sutherland advisor, but you're also the district director, from what I understand. Did you miss a meeting or something?
It's usually how it goes, right? Well, thanks very much, Commissioner Freeman, and I do serve as the Umpqua FFA District Advisor, and so work with a dozen other great teachers in different high schools here in Douglas County and Coos County in order to facilitate those opportunities that our students do a great job taking advantage of. And so again, thanks very much for your commitment and demonstration, not just here in a public forum, but behind the scenes as well and throughout the year. And an authentic support for what these students are doing and our goals are for them. And as we look to what our goals are and we look at how we're preparing students to fit into our community later on as business owners, as employees, as employers, as leaders, in all different facets of what this industry is. In a county that very much natural resources and agriculture have a long history and a very strong future in, then we know that all of our support is needed in order to make that happen for these students. And it doesn't just happen because there's a classroom with kids in it, but because there's the opportunities for these students to do things outside that classroom, made possible by the support of our community through opportunities, through finances, through resources, and all the pieces in between. And so we're very, very fortunate here in Douglas County to have the support we have for our programs, for our students and our schools. And that comes in every one of our communities, from the smallest that we have to the largest city in the county here. And we really appreciate that. The students spoke really well earlier today about, just prior to me, about the importance of that community connection. That's something that we foster, and we think that our community puts a lot of value in and also works hard to demonstrate as well. And so in a time where we talk about a lot of negatives, there's definitely some great positives that must not be ignored, and we continue to focus on those, and National FFA Week is a great time to do that. Thanks again for the opportunity to be here today and for these students to experience part of their civic government and how this plays out and be part of, and to know that there are real people behind the desk that very much care about them and their community. Thank you.
Wes, before you leave,
You bet.
tell us when we get to see you again, what's coming up next?
Absolutely. So next week, we're very excited to have you all in our community too. All of our different chapters have, or many of our chapters have fundraisers that help bring those resources together. Our Southern FFA alumni auction is next week on the 27th, Thursday. We have a new location at the high school, so that's exciting. I know Roseburg High School has their, FFA has theirs March 6th, I believe, at Roseburg High School. So, and then there's others, all sorts of other ones happening throughout the county. And we really appreciate, those would not be possible without the local businesses and individuals who support those, both in donations as well as showing up that night and demonstrating that this is a great program for kids to be supported. I'm a product of this program at Sutherland High School, and left for 5 years and came back and just been cranking now for 18. And so very fortunate to be part of this community. My family's been here for a very long time in agriculture, and I expect that to be the future as well for us. So again, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We're looking forward to seeing you up there.
All right, very good.
So-
Get you another dessert, Mr. Boyce.
So Wes, not
You bet.
only are you an incredible teacher and you motivate these kids, you certainly are a great peer to your colleagues that are also advisors, demonstrated by them choosing you to be the district director.
Again, if you miss a meeting, Mr.
Yeah, but also, you're a great ambassador for our community. You reach outside of the school system and include those business people and those community members. And that part's really important, and you do a really good job at it. So thank you for doing that.
Thanks very much. Like I said, we have a really good team of people to work with, and so grateful to be part of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, we're gonna finish our meeting up, which should go relatively quick compared to what you've all sat through. So the next agenda item is a consent agenda. We have a couple budget adjustments. I'd move to approve the consent item, or consent
second.
agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Chris?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. If you guys like to leave, we can take a break. I was just gonna pound through this in about 2 minutes, but either way,
Are we okay to step out?
yeah, we'll take a 2-minute break. If those who wanna leave, go ahead and leave.
Thank you again.
Yep, thank you.
It's not on our calendar.
Yes, it is.
Do you have an off agenda something? Do you have an off agenda something?
Just wanna make sure that 27th got put on our calendars. Which is next Thursday.
Very good. We are on to agenda item number 4. It's citizens' questions and comments on agenda items. We have 5 as a public hearing, so if you wanna talk during or about agenda item 5, it'd be appropriate to do it during the hearing. Anything online? Anybody here in the room would like to speak on agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move to the agenda items. Agenda item number 5 is a management and finance item. So I'll invite up the finance director. Would you wanna give us a staff report and then open the public
Yeah,
hearing,
real
or how would you like
quick,
to
just
do
real
it?
quick,
Okay.
Dan Wilson, Management and Finance. This is a hearing regarding the fiscal year 24-25 supplemental budget for interested parties to comment on the proposed changes. I just wanna mention that this notice was properly published on February 6th.
Any questions of staff? I'll go ahead and open the public hearing, invite anybody who'd like to comment, please come forward. Is there anybody online? I don't think we received any emails. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and just quickly mention that this is a normal process and that as we are continuing to try to find savings and look for ways to be more efficient, sometimes we have to move dollars around to make things work out right. And I appreciate the additional work that the finance department has to do to be nimble in these budgets. I think that is a more efficient way to spend taxpayer dollars, is to be able to not just etch it into stone for a whole year and not be able to move anything around to make it work. So thank you for doing that. Do you have some additional?
No, just item number 6 is
We gotta finish.
okay.
So I don't,
That was all on
yeah, I don't think we do any, I gotta ask the other folks if they have any questions or comments. So seeing none, okay, so now we'll move to number 6, and it is also a management and finance, so Mr. Wilson.
Again, Dan Wilson, Management and Finance. This is a board order. There's a need to increase resources and expenditures as well as make adjustments with certain appropriations within Public Safety Fund and the Fleet Management Fund for the fiscal year 24-25.
Move to approve the budget order. And I'll second that.
A motion, a second, to approve the supplemental budget order. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and the motion passes. Thank you. Agenda item number 7, Commissioner comments.
Did you close the hearing?
I'm sorry,
Did you close the public hearing for number 5?
You did.
I think I did. I
Sorry.
think I did to bring, so that's what triggered the staff to get back up, yep. We can review the tape though.
No, they're, I'm sorry, I missed it.
Public hearing is closed. So on to number 7, Commissioner comments. So I'm just gonna mention that tomorrow I'm having an opportunity to go up to Lane County to the 87th Annual Logging Conference. And it's sort of a fun thing for me in that I get to give a presentation about our ONC lands and how they affect communities and sort of the history of them, along with previous County Commissioner Doug Robertson. But the part that's sort of, fun or interesting for me is a very, very long time ago, I worked for a logging company and I helped, along with the other mechanics in the shop, prepare equipment to go to the logging show. So I did that for quite a few years. We'd put some pretty nice stuff together to send up to have the other logging companies look at. I never got to attend a logging show, so tomorrow will be my first logging conference opportunity to attend. So I'm looking forward to that, and as always, I'm looking forward to continue the conversation around managing ONC lands and the benefit that brings to our communities. So with that, I'll adjourn the meeting and thank you all for being here.